What if you woke up tomorrow and the world was no longer built for you? The ground trembles beneath your feet, not from an earthquake, but from footsteps. You look outside and see footprints the size of swimming pools carved into the earth. Shadows stretch across the horizon like moving mountains. The sun disappears, not behind clouds, but behind flesh. According to ancient texts, this already happened. They were called the Nephilim, and if you lived in their age, you wouldn't survive 24 hours. Welcome to Origin Paradox. What if you woke up tomorrow and the world was no longer made for you? Your eyes open. The sky looks the same. The air feels the same. But something is wrong. The ground beneath you trembles, not violently, not yet, but rhythmically. A slow, repeating pulse, like a massive heartbeat echoing through the earth itself. You sit up, confused. Then it hits you. These aren't heartbeats, they're footsteps. You stagger toward what you think is your window, but when you look outside, your breath disappears. The landscape has changed. Trees look like broken twigs, hills appear flattened, pressed into the earth, and carved into the soil are footprints so vast they resemble craters, each one the size of a swimming pool. Then you see the shadows. They stretch across the horizon like moving mountains, slow, deliberate, unavoidable. Something massive is coming, and in that moment, a truth settles into your bones. You are no longer at the top of the food chain. According to ancient texts, this isn't imagination. This is memory. The Hebrew Bible calls them the Nephilim. Genesis chapter 6 verse 4 says, "The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, mighty men of old, men of renown." But standing here, watching these titanic figures approach, one thing becomes clear. These were not heroes, they were executioners. You crane your neck upward as one of them draws closer, and closer, and closer. You can't see its face, you can't even see where it ends. Its leg alone is thicker than your entire home. Its foot, now slamming into the ground nearby, is larger than your entire village. The impact throws you to your knees. The earth convulses beneath you as if reality itself is breaking. This is when the stories stop being stories, because the Book of Enoch, an ancient text older than much of the Bible, describes these beings not as humans, but as abominations, hybrids, born from the union of fallen watchers and human women. It says they stood 3,000 ells tall. That's over 9,000 feet. Now you understand what that number really means. It means you don't matter. As the shadow of this Nephilim passes over you, the sun vanishes, not behind clouds, behind flesh. And suddenly, you feel something humanity hasn't felt in thousands of years. Primordial terror, the kind of fear wired into your DNA, the fear of prey. This is only the first hour. You haven't been noticed yet, but you will be. And when that happens, survival won't be about strength or intelligence or courage. It will be about whether you were worth noticing at all. Because in the age of the Nephilim, being ignored was the closest thing to mercy. Let's say you survived the first encounter, not because you were clever, not because you were strong, but because the giants simply didn't notice you. That isn't victory. That's a delay. Because now the real horror begins. Living in a world that was never designed for you. You need food, but look around. The fields that once fed your people are gone, crushed flat beneath footsteps larger than houses. Crops don't fail slowly here, they vanish instantly. What remains are scattered grains across miles of devastation, and every moment you spend searching means standing exposed beneath an open sky where giants roam freely. Hunger sets in fast. Your body weakens, your thoughts slow, and the moment you can't run anymore, it's over. You need shelter, but shelter doesn't exist at your scale anymore. The cities around you were built for beings whose hands could lift stones weighing hundreds of tons. Doorways tower like cathedral gates. Stairs are carved from single blocks of stone, each step taller than you are. Tools lie scattered everywhere, but they're useless. Hammers that weigh as much as cars, cups the size of swimming pools, weapons you couldn't even drag across the ground. You are not just small here, you are incompatible. Across the world we still see the evidence of this. Baalbek in Lebanon, foundation stones weighing over 800 tons. Some unfinished blocks in the nearby quarry reach over 1,200 tons. Pumapunku in Bolivia, precision-cut stones fitted so perfectly you can't slide a blade between them. Sacsayhuaman in Peru, walls engineered to survive massive earthquakes without mortar. Modern engineers admit they couldn't replicate this today. Now imagine trying to live inside these structures as something the size of an insect. You weren't meant to live here. You were meant to be beneath notice. And then there's the truth the ancient texts don't soften. The giants weren't passive rulers. According to the Book of Enoch, they consumed all human resources. When that wasn't enough, they consumed humans themselves. Not out of desperation, out of appetite. Picture it, massive fingers, each thicker than tree trunks, reaching down into the ruins of your settlement. People lifted effortlessly, examined briefly, then eaten. You don't even get the dignity of being an enemy. You are livestock, entertainment, an object to satisfy boredom or hunger. This wasn't random violence, it was systemic. The Book of Jubilees says the earth became filled with injustice, corruption, and cruelty. The Hebrew word used, Hamas, doesn't just mean violence. It means brutality without restraint, cruelty without purpose, and you live inside it. Even the giants who don't immediately kill you are worse. The teachers, the ones who kneel down, not to help, but to corrupt. Ancient texts say they taught humans forbidden knowledge, weapons of war, manipulation, sorcery, seduction, not to elevate humanity, but to turn humans against each other, to rot civilization from the inside. Survival itself becomes a trap. Every day you stay alive, you become more compromised, more desperate, less human. And then there's the psychological terror. Imagine waking every morning to the sound of laughter that shakes mountains, giant laughter, rolling across the land like thunder. You don't understand the words, but you understand the tone. Amusement. You are not being hunted, you are being played with. This is what daily life looks like under giant rule. Not a battle for freedom, a prolonged humiliation, a waiting game where death is random, arbitrary, and inevitable. You run not to escape, but to delay. You hide, knowing it doesn't matter. And slowly, something inside you breaks, because humans are not built to live as prey forever. By the end of the first day, your body is starving, your mind is unraveling, and you've realized the most terrifying truth of all. Survival isn't heroic here, it's meaningless. Because in a world ruled by giants, mercy isn't kindness. It's neglect, and neglect never lasts. By the time the age of giants reaches its peak, the earth is no longer recognizable. Violence isn't an event anymore, it's the atmosphere. Ancient texts say the world was filled with Hamas, not just bloodshed, but cruelty without restraint, oppression without consequence. Every structure of order collapses. Humanity doesn't merely suffer under the giants, it unravels beneath them. The Book of Enoch describes a world poisoned at every level. The land itself groans under the weight of corruption. Animals turn violent, ecosystems fail, the balance of creation fractures. And at the center of it all stand the Nephilim, too powerful to be challenged, too corrupt to be allowed to remain. This isn't just a human crisis, it's a cosmic one. And then something changes. The giants sense it before humans do. The sky darkens, not like a storm, but like a verdict. Rain doesn't fall gently, it crashes. Oceans rise as if the earth itself is breaking open. This isn't weather, this is judgment. Genesis says God looked upon the earth and saw that it was filled with violence. And the solution wasn't reform, it was erasure, a complete reset. The flood wasn't only about humanity's sin, it was about exterminating the giants who had turned the world into a slaughterhouse. For the first time, you see fear in creatures who once treated you like an insect. Giants run, giants scream, giants drown. The beings who reshaped mountains now thrash helplessly in rising waters. And there is a terrible symmetry to it. The predators become prey. But salvation is never clean. The flood doesn't just take them, it takes almost everything. If you survive, it's not because you were strong, it's because you were chosen or lucky. You watch entire civilizations vanish beneath the water. Knowledge is lost, history is erased, and when the waters finally recede, the world is silent in a way you've never known. No footsteps, no shadows, no laughter rolling across the hills. You think it's over, but it isn't. Because buried inside the scriptures is a sentence that changes everything. Numbers 13:33, written after the flood, says, "We saw the Nephilim there, and we seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and so we were in their sight." The giants are back. Different names, different regions, same presence. The Anakim, the Rephaim, Goliath, Og of Bashan. Each appearance triggers the same reaction, terror. Humans don't describe these encounters like battles, they describe them like divine interruptions, because victory is never achieved through human effort alone. David doesn't defeat Goliath because he's skilled, he wins because the encounter is framed as miraculous, an exception, proof that giants can fall, but only under extraordinary circumstances. And miracles, by definition, are rare. For every giant that falls, countless others remain. This is where the real damage becomes visible. Humanity survives, but it never recovers. The memory of giants lingers. It embeds itself into myth, religion, architecture, and fear. Even when they're gone, people build as if something larger might return. Massive walls, cyclopean stones, structures designed not to dominate nature, but to endure against something far worse. And slowly, the stories fade. Giants become legends, legends become fairy tales become entertainment. The warnings are softened, sanitized, forgotten. So why wouldn't you survive 24 hours in the age of the Nephilim? Because survival requires something humans cannot sustain forever. The ability to live as prey without losing your mind, your morality, and your will to exist. The ancients tried to warn us. They carved their memories into stone. They wrote them into scripture. They embedded them into the landscape itself. They told us about the giants who ruled the earth, who filled it with violence, who treated humanity as disposable. We called those warnings myths. In the age of giants, ignorance isn't innocence. It's extinction.